Now you can hear me. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Lucky. Hello, Lucky Sprite. How are you, dear? Okay, let me close this out. It's okay. Can you hear me okay? Hey, Bernetta. Hey, Heather. How's everyone doing? All right. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to download something else. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me download this. How's everybody doing? We're going to let everybody kind of come on in here and then we're going to get started here pretty quick. I don't want this to be a long situation. We're going to get going on here very quickly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm doing really good today. Come on. I did find out today I'm not going to have surgery on my knee. So that is wonderful. I'm gonna make myself just a little bit smaller. I know that's gonna be a little weird. And make this a little bit bigger. All right, here we go. Okay, guys. Thanks, sweetie. All right. All right. All right. I know, no surgery. Holy crap, right? Like, man. Okay, I don't know why these people are there. Hold on one second. Let me text. Bear with me. I've got people that are over there on the other one. Okay. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. There we go. Okay, good. I'm so glad you figured that out. All right. All right, guys. You know, if I'm not doing reading sometimes, I swear some people do not want to come on over here for Wisdom Wednesday. Okay, but we're going to go on and get started, okay? So, I wanted to talk about here. We're going to start this here. Okay, good. We're going to start this conversation here and then we're going to move it over to Patreon, okay? Just so y'all know. Um we'll move it over to Patreon on the Patreon live. I told you guys I really wanted to have that discussion over there, some depths of some things that I want to talk about. So that's going to start at 8 o'clock. Okay. That's going to start at 8 p.m. or at the top of the hour. So I wanted to start today and just really start talking a little bit about um, how we manifest, right? Or how I manifested the house as a real life kind of case study. Like I put in the description box, so often we we're watching all these wonderful YouTubers, right? There's some great YouTubers that teach on manifestation and teach on the law of attraction and all of that. And you'll see them and they're in these like fantastic, wonderful, beautiful houses and they've got this like enchanted and charmed life. And that's great. Like I'm very happy for them. And they've worked very, very hard to get where they're at and they've really put a lot of these principles into practice. But what I wanted to do tonight is talk about this from a regular schmegular. I wanted to talk about this from the regular schmegular point of view. Okay, I'm not living in a $500,000 or $1 million home, which, by the way, I have since found out that one of these people, who shall remain nameless, was actually renting the house. So I suppose if you're manifesting enough, if you've got enough money that you can rent $1 million home, that's fantastic. And I'm not begrudging it. But, it was almost one of those things where you're just like, I thought you purchased it, right? So I wanted to come at this from a regular schmegler. Like you and I, middle class America, right? How do we do this manifestation thing these days? How did I manifest this house? Okay. So the house, and this is going to be a little story. This is story time. And along the way, I'm going to give you some of the points of view, right? I'm going to give you some of that all along the way and pepper it in with what I did when. Um, I put up here this vibrational chart. You can download this off of my website, heartofinspiration.net, because I wanted to show you this is like a vibration, a consciousness chart. Oh, that's okay, Rio. Thank you for coming. This is the level of consciousness, right, chart, and probably a lot of you have seen this funnel. Down at the bottom is the alpha point, and up at the top, purple. This goes actually right along with the chakra colors. And then up at the top at 700 plus is enlightenment. The reason why I wanted to show this is because a lot of this, honestly, I went through during these last, I will say 2 years really of manifesting this house, as well as the rest of the life, right, that I have now. And I thank God, the universe, beloved creator, for the life that I have. But not only do I thank God, the universe and creator for that, I also thank my own divinity. And I accept and appreciate and have activated my own divinity. And that, I will say, in the very first thing that we have to say during this time period that we're together is, if you have not accepted yet and fully embraced the level of divinity that you are, that's the very first step towards anything. You have to come to a point where you, and I'm just going to go by Christianity. I'm not going to talk about any other religion because I grew up in Christianity. I am an ordained minister still and all of that. So that's my perspective I'm going to speak from. That's my perspective I'm going to speak from. Okay. Is Christianity. I'm actually letting one other person know I'm live. So Christianity at its base, hey Lee, Christianity at its base, you have this belief in, and I'm not going to dispute this at the moment, where you believe in the Savior, Lord Jesus Christ, and you go to Jesus in order to get to God, to Creator. You have to go through Jesus, right? You pray through Jesus, or Jesus' sacrifice allowed us to get to the throne room and allowed us to get to this point where we can then speak to Creator one-on-one, because we were unworthy to do so prior to accepting him as Lord and Savior in some fashion. Catholics do it a little different. So there's always this external entity, right? Hello, Miss Shonda. Hello, Trine. Thank you so much, love. And thank you to everybody that's making those statements right now of congratulations. And it means a lot to me. And I wanted to do this tonight so everybody would know how I did it. I wanted, again, the regular schmeglers to know this is how we did it. This is how we do it, right? So religion tends to put this external all the onus on the manifesting of your life, or what your best life, or those things that you wish to have in your life, on an external force that then removes any accountability that you have. Um, my legs are hiding. I'm hiding my legs. Um, Maybe someday I'll show my legs when I have my set built. When I build the set down here, now that I own the house, then y'all will see my beautiful legs, honey. I have nice legs, by the way. Um, it puts this onus on an external force and then removes all accountability from us. When you remove your own accountability for how your life is, then you basically have given up all of your power, and basically you then can blame anybody and everybody else for where you're at. So that's all down there at that lower level, that 20, the frequency of 20 is shame. Then comes guilt at 30, then apathy at 50, then grief at 75, fear at 100. Those are all basal, root, sacral chakra vibrational levels. So when we joke on this channel and say you really being low vibrational, I'm going to say you are at anywhere between 175 and below. Okay? You are vibrating at a very low vibrational set point. So a couple years back, when I was going through the divorce and all of that, and I was still living in this house, I have been renting this house for 3 years with the option to buy. I signed what now I know to be what could have only been, okay, a contract that was signed based on a higher consciousness wisdom that I certainly did not realize I was even operating in at that moment in time. Hey, Huggy. That I didn't even know of, right? So, but I was operating at all those, this pride, this anger, desire really means kind of like sexual primal desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, and shame, because my life was kind of in a crapper. And, my new husband, we weren't even really in the same household for a whole freaking year, and before it all went to hell in a handbasket. And so and I'm giving you full disclosure, child, full disclosure. I am in and was in at that point in the midst of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I owned a business before, owed a lot of taxes, in the midst of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. I still am. We'll be there till 2020, and I still got this house. We're going to get there in a second. So here I am in the midst of all of this, living in a home that I had signed this amazing contract to purchase now on Monday, and I wasn't even sure if I was ever going to get my credit score where it needed to be, let alone anything else. Would anybody ever even give me a loan? Do you hear what I'm saying? So but now hear what I just said though. Would anybody ever give me a loan? We operate based on what other people or external forces will give us, rather than as a normal human being. This is what we're taught, based on what other people give us and not our own accountability for creating our own existence in connection to and concert with God, universe, creator, beloved, whichever name you choose to use for the supremacy. So here I am still 2 years ago saying, who's going to give me something? That's where I was 2 years ago. Not yet fully comprehending that I could go out and co-create it and attract it to me. So when I was vibrating at this 175, 150, 125, 100, 75, 50, 30, and 20 level, because see, I'm not vibrating at, there's no shame. There's no shame to that. I have no shame in my game at this point. That's why I can tell you, yeah, I filed bankruptcy 3.5 years ago. Okay. You look that up. That's public record. Okay. So I have no shame in that, but I was operating in shame. Here I had a husband that was running around cheating and all this other stuff. My credit still was in a tank. How in the world am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Who's going to give me a loan? Who's going to give me these opportunities, right? Somewhere along the line, though, I got to 200. And when you're vibrating at 200, where you have the courage to say, life will change. Oh, life will change. I love Hakeem. I can have, I will have, I have. I went from life can change, I will own this house on August 5th, 2019, to I own this house as of August 5th of 2019, to I own this house now. This is my house. This is my house. My terminology had to change. My terminology changed as I grew to a greater acceptance and embracing of my own divinity. The creation story goes something like this, right? God said, let there be light with a capital L, and there was light. God said, let there be light. God did not say, creator, don't get hung up on the terminology, people. Just stick with me. God said, let there be light. And there was light. He didn't say, I hope there might be. Maybe possibly. Maybe sometime 10,000 years from now. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe. He didn't say there wasn't no maybes about it. He said, let there be, and there was. He created, he spoke. What did he speak? We've talked about this, those of you that have been with me before, but I'm going to go into it here a little bit deeper. The thought came, ooh, I want to create an earth. And I want there to be animals, and I want there to be humans, and I want there to be trees and grass and beautiful flowers and insects and this and that. I want this whole world, this whole existence to be. Right? So what did he do? He spoke, and it was. There is no no, and so he spoke it, and then 20,000 years later, here we are. He spoke it, and it was. Yeah, he spaced it out, but I think he spaced it out according to what we can comprehend. I don't believe that there really was any delineation from day to night. He did set day and night into existence, because you cannot have night without day. You cannot have day without night. There had to be time. So when he created the fifth dimension, he then created the fourth dimension of time, and then he created the third dimension of physical manifestation and reality. Hear what now, if y'all didn't just get that right there, because that there, let me tell you something. He created the fifth dimension of light and consciousness and enlightenment. He then created this fourth dimension of time. And he then created the third dimension of earth. Are you all hearing that? That is the order in which manifestation happens. It is first thought of and created. The visualization happens in the fifth dimension. It has to transcend and traverse the fourth dimension of time, and then comes to the third dimension of what we see, the physical reality, the matrix. He spoke, he thought, he spoke, it was. He thought, he spoke, he sent out the energy, the speech, sound has sound waves. Sound waves are a frequency. He then set energy in motion. If you all remember physics from high school, you will know that what is Newton's third law, that a thing set into motion, right, does not stop moving until there's an equal and opposite force. It moves. It does it. You can't stop it. It's going to go. Okay? So the sound waves, until it hit the frequency that it needed to hit, and then manifest it in the real world. Now, I'm going to bring this back down to reality here for a second. Until you start vibrating at that 350 hertz level of acceptance. Now, different people, David Dawkins and others, teach this differently than I'm about to teach it to you right now. 350 hertz, I believe we start to accept who we are as entities. As who we are as entities. As divine entities. We begin to accept that there's more to life than just what we see. There's more to life than our phones. There's more to life than a boyfriend or a girlfriend. There's more to life than a husband or a wife. We begin to accept that there's more to life than what we know now, right? We can accept it. Then we have reason, which is logic, which is science, which is all that. And then when we finally can get to that 500 level of love, and then the 540 level of joy, that's when a manifestation power can really come into existence. Okay? It can get there. Until I truly got to a point where I accepted my faults. You know, I'm going to tell y'all something. That song, Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound. Oh, no. It is a song that, I think so. You saw beyond my fault. You looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. That is in I Won't Complain. Until we become to the point where we accept our humanity as it is, and we forgive ourselves. We forgive ourselves for our own faults. We forgive ourselves for not believing in ourselves. We forgive ourselves for putting ourselves in certain situations where we've been hurt. We begin to recognize through reason then that a lot of the truths that we have been told before are not true, that they're perhaps programs, and these things that have been spoken over us aren't really true. And then we move into a love of self and a love of others. When we begin to move into that vibration, we begin to move into a Godhead vibration of creation. So if you're wondering why you ain't manifesting stuff in your life, better look at your love life. And I'm not talking about your love life of who you sleeping with at night or who you not sleeping with at night. I'm talking about the love life of when you get in bed by yourself. Do you truly love you? Yes, please, everybody, do go to Shonda Rhimes Esoteric Channel. Please go there and subscribe. Until you get to the point where you love you so completely and they are accepting of who you are, and you unify your twin flames of dark and light, you cannot vibrate at the level of creation. You cannot vibrate at the level of manifestation. You just can't do it. Why? Because you still stuck down there at the bottom. So if y'all wonder why sometimes I give y'all a little side eye every now and again when y'all come in there in here and you ask me, uh, what's my ex doing? What happened, Captain? What's going on with him? Will he come back? Is she gonna come back into my life? Oh my God. Now y'all wonder why I throw y'all them side eyes? It's because you're still stuck down there in fire and desire down there in your sacral and your power chakra. Are you hearing me? You're still stuck down at the bottom. That's not the area that truly creation starts. Remember what we said. And believe it or not, you all, at 8 p.m., at the top of the hour, I'm going to continue this on Patreon. So you all need to get, as soon as I get done here, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to go to Patreon. Okay? To go to Patreon and sign up for $5 or $10 so you can get the rest of this. Now, I'm going to give you enough to get started. Here we go. If you're vibrating down at that level, you're not vibrating at the level of creation. Why is that? What did we just say how creation happened? God created the fifth dimension first, the outer dimension first. The upper dimension first, then time, then third dimension. Y'all are too busy trying to create from the third dimension up and not enacting your spiritual divinity capabilities that you have been born with and have had for an eternity to start from the top down. You've been too busy trying to go from the bottom up. Now, I understand that children and everything are sacral chakras and all of that. I get that creation is there, right? That's where it happens. The seed is there and the fertilizer to the seed is there in the sacral chakra. Do you understand? I get that. But that's for third dimensional creation. That is not for you attracting third dimensional manifested things into your world. That's for creation right here. Yes, Raven, I'll post a replay on Patreon for patrons only. Now, how I manifested this house. Let me bring that back here. So at some point a couple years ago, I got to a point where I was like, ooh, I done forgave myself. Ooh, I love myself. Ooh, I trust myself. Ooh, I have joy. Y'all, if y'all been in church, y'all remember them songs, joy, I have joy, joy, unspeakable joy. Y'all remember those songs? And we sung them songs, and some of us got the Holy Ghost at after the song was over. We got all sorts of Holy Ghost when we were talking about the sweet by and by and how Jesus is coming and he's going to take us all away. But what you going to do while you here? You waiting for somebody else somewhere else to do what he has already told you you have the power to do it here. Even in the Bible, it says, speak to that mountain, move, and it shall move into the sea. Is that better, y'all? Or do we need to move up the chart? I'm sorry. I thought you meant, do I need to physically move it up? Speak to the mountain and move. And cast the mountain into the sea. Okay, well, help me understand something. If I got enough power within my own divinity that I've already possessed here to speak to a whole mountain and say, move along, get on out here and get off into that sea, why in the hell can't I manifest a house? Why can't I manifest the job, the career, the business, the money. Why? And notice something there in that speak to the mountain. Hello, loving. Notice the something in the speak to the mountain. He didn't say speak to the mountain and then go and get you a couple of skid loaders and some dump trucks and forklifts and whatever them things are that dig, the diggers. You go get a bunch of diggers and dig off from around the base of the mountain and then put some rebar underneath that bad boy and lift it up and then take it into the sea. That ain't what he said. Thank you, Trine. Thank you. That ain't what he said. He said, speak to the mountain and it moves. That sounds a whole lot to me like I decided up here is going to happen. I spoke it here, and because I believed it with every fiber of my being, it then happens. I want you to understand something. One of the reasons why you're not manifesting the things that you desire in your life right now is because you may think it and you may actually speak it, but you ain't believing in it because you're not operating in enough love of self and enough joy, right? You're still stuck in the reason on how in the world is it going to happen. You're still stuck at that 400 level of how is it going to happen. You're too busy thinking about the how and not just the what. At no point at any given moment in time, in any miracle that has been, story told, whatever you want to say, in anything that has been given to us in any holy text, has it ever been said? Okay, now I'm going to tell you exactly how this here healing miracle happened. Well, actually, but right before the man got up to walk, I literally went in and repaired his spine and put new spinal cord fluid in there and regenerated all of the nerve endings so that he could walk. No. Get up and walk. Be healed. We are so fixated on the process, we can never get to the result. We're so fixated on the process, we can never get to the result. The blueprint has been given to us on how to manifest. How did I manifest this house? Let me get back to that. So I got to a point where I'm operating, and I think I saw a question about, do we have to get up to this point? I will say that as you get up higher to these levels, the manifestation process gets easier. We sometimes, as we are becoming more enlightened, you will vacillate between them. You're not always going to stay in a love vibration. I don't always stay at a love vibration even now. I don't always stay at joy, and I don't always stay at peace. I'm going to tell you that straight up right now. I'm still human. However, when you attain that level, the manifestation process gets easier. In order to regular schmegulars like me and you to do this thing, this is what you got to do. Listen. You got to get to a point where you love yourself completely. You have to get to a point where you accept your divinity. You have to get to a point where you accept your responsibility in the process. You have to accept your responsibility in the process and take it on willingly and say, guess what? I wanted this house. I finally said, I own this home. The minute I kept saying, the more I said, I own this home, I own this home. This is my house. 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 There was never going to be any choice other than it being my house. Never. Any other choice. It didn't matter whether or not I was in the middle of a bankruptcy. It didn't matter that uh I ended up being able to raise my credit score about 150 to 200 points, my FICO, baby, so I could get approved for the house. Now, that didn't just happen by osmosis. That happened because I'm listening to my higher self and taking the proper steps. But I'm in a point, I grew to the point where, because I loved myself and I'm walking in joy and I trust myself, up there, right? Up there at that third eye crown chakra level. Up there at the third eye crown chakra level in that upper region, right? So I am being guided now by the fifth dimension, no longer being guided by the third dimension. I walk by faith, not by sight. Kelsey, I'm so glad. Walk by faith, not by sight. I walk by spirit. I am spirit led. That's why I talk about being spirit led. My steps are ordered. All of these, the knowledge is already there. We just got stuck in the religion. How did I manifest this house? First of all, I envisioned this being my house. It's really quite that simple. I set my eyes on this house. I said, is this my house? Is this the Bryant house? Do I like this house? Do I like living where I'm living? How do I? Yep, this is cool. It's the kind of house that I want. It's a ranch. It's awesome. Great. Building out the basement. Great. My house. I spoke. Anytime there was a doubt, nope, no doubt. I heard it. Okay, whatever. Moving right along. Spoke. And then the more I spoke, the more I lived here, the more I made it my own, started construction when people were like, well, you haven't even bought the house. Why are you starting construction downstairs? Because it's my house. Well, you're doing this to the property. Why are you doing that to the property? Because it's my house. There was not going to be any choice in the matter. It's my house. My emotion, my heart chakra sent out the energy in perfect concert with my speech and my thought. There was never going to be any other option. And I divorced myself from the process. Never any other option. I divorced myself from the process. I manifested this house from the fifth dimension down instead of attempting to build it from the third dimension up. It's not as hard as you think. It's not as hard as you think. You have to divorce yourself from the process. You have to disengage this and engage this. This is the strongest electromagnetic generator you have, is your heart. Is your heart. Your heart is the strongest magnet you have. So when your heart is set on something, when I have my heart set on something, it comes to pass. I'm going to let you sit with that for a second too. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. This is going to be up on YouTube. I'm going to give you all will have 15 minutes. I am going to continue this discussion and in much greater depth over on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Heart of Inspiration. 15 minutes. Go over there now. There is a post that is up. It is only up for patrons only. $5 patron, $10, whatever. You don't have to do anything spectacular. But come on over there so I can get really into some of the deeper teaching that I want to get into. If you thought this was deep, there's more to come. Okay? There's more to come about tuning into these frequencies, about utilizing meditation, how I utilize meditation and so on and so forth. And I'm going to introduce that to my patrons tonight. So come on over there. There is already a, like I said, a link that's in a patron only post. So go to www.patreon.com/Heart of Inspiration. Now, if you cannot join us right now, there will be a patron only. I will upload it for patrons only, though, okay, after we're done. But you still have to be a patron in order to gain access to it until I decide to bring it over to this side, okay? So that's what we're doing, guys. That's where I really want to get to the depth of things, all right? I hope this helped. Please leave me, those of you watching on the replay, please leave me some comments below. I want to have the discussion with you about manifestation, and I want to talk about, I want you to let me know what you're manifesting. What are you seeking to manifest? How you can, we'll go further another time about how we can manifest your chosen reality. But remember, you have to manifest from the top down, okay? Manifest from the top down, and instead of from the bottom up. Guys, start joining me. We're going to start it next week. We'll be doing daily meditations starting next week. We'll be doing daily meditations. That is going to help in your manifestation game, in your manifestation process, because it's going to raise your vibrational set point. Okay? It's going to raise it up. Yes, Lucky, it'll be on there. Okay? So, go on over www.patreon.com/Heart of Inspiration. Those of you watching on the replay, you'll be able to gain access to the deeper teaching once you become a patron. All right, guys, thank you so much. This was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you so much. Namaste. Bye-bye.